Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. We have another fun design drop day, and I've got a couple surprises for you. I got a couple projects for you. I got a couple funny cutouts for you, little behind the scenes. And I'm just going to jump on right here. I had this open and I was chatting with the girls, and I just want to make sure that we are live. If you can see me, let me know. I'm going to get my iron ready today. We're going to be doing the iron-on method on all three. If we have time, I've got 3 projects here. So I'm just going to pop in here, and I just want to make sure that everything is good. I had to reconnect something this morning, and you know how that goes. No echo? No echo. We're good to go. All right, it's Tuesday. We're crafting. This is the first time I've sent an email out beforehand to let you guys know what time I'd be crafting. I'm thinking this time works, so I'm going to keep sticking with this noon time. But I have got 2 paper drops, and then because I needed a project for the paper, I had my husband whip up another cutout, so I'm going to share that with you today. But what do we want to share first? What do we want to share first? Let's start with the tissue paper. So the tissue paper, you guys know we've had 2 tissue paper designs that we've had for, it's probably been, the John 3:16 we started at the very beginning. And then last year we released the 2 Corinthians, love is patient, love is kind. Well, hello, Miss Tara. Hi, Katie. And then we've had some mishaps in between. If you've been here a while, you know the story. We had one that was printed with a spelling error. It was this whole thing. We ended up having to toss that whole batch. That was before we released Love is Patient, Love is Kind. So we decided for this next tissue, we wanted to go with Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all thine heart. And we gave the members 4 choices of patterns to choose from. So we did 4 different designs, and then we had them vote on which one they wanted. And we have a winner, and it's been in production, and it is available now. So this is the 10-pack sheet here. So you get 10 sheets. These are giant 20 by 30 sheets. I'll show you the full sheet here. And this is the print that we went with. So I'm going to hold it up here so that you can see it. It's got this lovely repeating print. You've got some chevron. You've got some heart, crosses on here. Well, hello, Miss Linda. I got Miss Cindy popping in. We got Miss Lisa. So this is live in the site, on the site. I'm going to be crafting with this today. I'm going to show 2 different projects with this today. And then, you know, I love these for glass. Let me show you. I've got one over here. Okay, this is just one that I did. I love doing this decoupage, our decoupage tissue on glass, because you could put a candle in here and it's so pretty. Now, this is actually my chocolate stash. This is my Valentine's chocolate stash. Shh, don't tell my son. I have to hide it or I don't get any. But this is just decoupage on a candle holder. So I love doing glass with this tissue. But let me just I'm going to put it. Woo! All right, I'm knocking stuff down. I'm going to put it up there. I'm afraid if I put it on the ground, my doggy will get into my chocolate stash, and that will not be good. So you can use it for gift giving, Christmas. You can, there's so many uses for the tissue. But I'm going to show you today one project with that. So I'm going to put it aside because I want to show you the other paper really quick too. Now, if you've been around for a minute, for at least a year, you may know that we used to carry rice paper. The rice paper that we used to carry was it was a little bit thicker because we had to print it ourselves. So every time you would order a sheet of rice paper, myself or the girls would have to go in there each order and print off each individual one. As we grew, that was not feasible anymore. Like we were getting too many orders. It was just crazy. We were printing like 30, 40, 50 sheets of rice paper a day. Then my printer decided it didn't want to print anymore. And so at that point, I had to decide, do we take the rice paper off the store, or do we, you know, what do we do? Do I buy a new printer? Is this feasible? And what I decided at the time is it just wasn't feasible for us to be printing anymore. And so we stopped carrying the rice paper. But it's always been in my back of my mind, in my heart, to be able to bring it back because we still get a lot of requests for it. So I was able to work with our manufacturer, and they sent me some samples, and I absolutely loved them. And so we took our top two selling non-Christmas, because the Christmas ones were super top sellers. So we are going to bring back a Christmas design as well. But I took the two that were the most popular from when we had rice paper before, and we had them designed, and then I added 2 more. So I'm going to show you today. Now these are also available on the site, and the members have access to these already. So the first one is, and it's actually hard to see on that camera, or is it hard to see? Let me see. You can kind of see it. Okay, so this one has cast your anxiety on him because he cares for you. So that's from Peter 5:7. I'm going to show it this way. So it has the flowers in the vases, kind of the vintage style there. Hi, Miss Tara. I've got Miss Marshall says that's beautiful. Kitty says it's so pretty. So I don't know. I'm going to try and get it in the light. If you can see the rice paper sheen, like this is a much more true rice paper. It's a thin rice paper, not the thick kind we had that had like that. The one we had before almost had like a cloth texture on the back. And that's because we had to get a thicker version to be able to print through our printer. But this is true, super thin rice paper. Like it's very thin, gorgeous. So we have this was our like number 2 selling print. So we have that one. It's sold in a 4-pack now. This is the second one. This was our bestseller right here. So again, I'll put it down here so you can see it. It says, look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. That's from Matthew 6:26. These are not King James Version. So if that's important to you, just know these ones are not. We will going forward, but because they were so popular the way they were, I did not want to change anything on them in case people got confused and thought they were reordering and it's not the same. Then I get people upset. So that's what's going on with that. Then I did a hymnal version. So this is actually Amazing Grace. This is not the decoupage tissue background. That one was a little more purple. This one has lines and florals in it. So just a vintage pinks if you love the pinks. Hello, Miss Juliette. Well, hey, Carol. Carol says this is her first time. Welcome. Christine says she loves the rice paper. Good for you, sticking what you want. Also, Christine, because you're on here, thank you so much for your sweet card. I just got it this morning, and it was so sweet. Thank you. Hello, Miss Cindy. She says she loves this package. I think Cindy already snagged it too. Okay, and then the last one we have is look to the Lord and his strength, seek his face always. This again has the vintage pattern. It's got some flowers in here. We've got some music behind it, and then the sweet little hummingbird. And I think this is the one I'm going to use today for one of the projects. I feel like you can see it better when I hold it up. So again, they're sold in 4-packs now. So you get 4 in a set. They have the instructions on there, just a little preview. And they already come in the little poly bag all ready to go. So those are our paper designs. Then I was talking with my husband and I was like, hey, I need something to do because I had a project in mind. I have an awesome project for this, but I can't do it yet because it's actually going to be the members project in August. And I so wanted to share with you and I can't, but maybe I'll give the members some sneak peeks. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, Julianne. I don't know what I'm doing. I was trying to put that up there to ask if I wanted you to bring you on stage. Sorry if you got some kind of weird invitation. Oh my gosh, she said she was having problems. Okay, moving on. I swear every time I go in this app, they update it and I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, so I told my husband I need a project that we can use for the tissue paper. Now we have this house, which I've showed a couple different ways to do this house. Now this is actually the one of the rice paper sheets on here. So this is our house and our little bird. And you can see I took the rice paper And then I just put the verse on the bird there. And this is the project we're going to be doing in the members group for our bonus craft night. So this is one version. So the rice paper does fit on this house. I'm going to be doing a different project, but I just want to show you that. But I thought, how cool would it be if we could do a church? So I have to show you some stuff because this is funny. My husband was like, don't show them that, but I'm going to show you because it's so funny. So I asked him to make me a church. And so the first church that he came up with was this one. And I was like, that's not really what I'm looking for, but it needs to be a little bit bigger. And so that one was vetoed. And I think this was the cross that went with it. But if like you look at the cross, it's like these arms aren't even straight. So we didn't go with that one. So then he's like, all right, I'll make it bigger. So then we got this one. And I was like, that's still not really what I'm looking for. Also, I don't know if I have a box this can go in. So I was like, no on that one. And so this one cracks me up the most. So he was looking at pictures on Google, I think, and coming up with designs for churches. And so then he came up with this one. And what cracks me up the most about this one is like, I think it's supposed to be like dimensional. But I was like, I don't think that's going to work. And babe, we're like decoupaging it. So you're not going to see any of this. And so we're like, whoo, no on that one. So then I kind of told him like the house works good. Is there a way we can do the house, like a house on a house and make it look like a church? And he said yes. So then he came back with this one. And I was like, yes, that is what I'm looking for. Christine says she can't find the popsicle sticks anywhere. Christine, so I have found them at Walmart in the crafting section. You also might want to try Amazon. And then Dollar Tree used to have them. But I think the ones I got were Walmart in like where they have all the wood and stuff. They're a thicker one in there. And so this is the one, this is what he came up with. So this is what we're going to be crafting today. If you're like, I love this church, or you see this project and you're like, I want it. I did pop it on the site this morning in case anyone wanted it. So it is up there for you, but that's what we're going to use today. So I think I'm going to do that project first. Now I know, I was trying to save time today. So I actually prepped all my pieces already. So this one, this church is just covered in the, I forget what it is that I always use, plaster. It's just Waverly White. It's plaster is the color. Crystal says she wants to learn about being affiliate. There's a bunch of affiliates on this live. Crystal, there's a part, if you go to the bottom of our website, it'll ask you if you want to be an affiliate. You can click that link and you just sign up there. So go all the way to the bottom in the footer and that will give you the information. Linda says she loves it. Why is it? I'm trying to pin the. Okay, it's pinning weird. I thought it's asking you to come on stage, but it's not. It's just pinning the comment. Very weird. Okay, so this is the one we're going to be using today, but I thought you guys would get a kick out of. This is the design process that goes on in the background, and it just ends up being firewood or whatever. So, too funny. Okay, so we're going to use the iron-on decoupage method for this today. It is prepped in the plaster. Everything today is prepped in the plaster. I just get this from Walmart, the Waverly plaster. And then this is ink. I painted it in, I'll put it this way, painted it in ink. Is the color, and it's also Waverly. And I'm just going to get this going while we're chatting away. Okay, so we're going to do the iron-on method for the decoupage. So to do that, we're just going to need our iron. We're going to need parchment paper, which I have a piece stuck in here. Not wax paper, parchment paper. And then we're going to first cover our surface with just a light layer of Mod Podge. So I think I'm actually going to do both of my surfaces at the same time while I have this Mod Podge out. Now the key is A, get it all the way to the edges. B, don't use a ton, which is kind of why I like the squirt bottle, but then also sometimes I get a little heavy-handed with the squirt bottle. Having the lights help a little bit because you can see where it's still wet. So I have to tell you an update. If you caught last week's live where I talked about Mr. David, the DHL driver, who when he got, he was driving his, it's a whole long story. So if you weren't here, hey, Miss Pam. Christine wants to know if you can, rather than Waverly, can you just use that, I think it's pronounced gesso. Someone told me I was pronouncing it wrong. Yeah, you can do that. You're basically just looking for a solid color so that the tissue paper, especially since we're using this white, the wood will counteract, like the wood will show through and your pattern's not going to pop as much. So any plain, you can even use acrylic. Any just plain white or cream background color is fine. And yeah, the gesso is gesso. Maybe it's supposed to be gesso. I don't know. Someone told me I was pronouncing it wrong. So update on David. So I shared the story of David from the DHL driver who God used our transfers to speak to him on the 6-month anniversary of both of his parents dying. If you have not seen that, go back and watch it. This story is crazy. So I'm going to cover that. And then this is what I'm going to be using for the rice paper. So I'm going to just cover this with the Mod Podge while we're chit-chatting here. So we had another delivery on Thursday, and wouldn't you know, he was our driver again. And I was actually outside when the DHL truck went by because it went past our house first. And my husband Paul's like, hey, there's your guy. He calls me, there's my guy. Because, you know, we had prayed over him and everything the week before. And I was like, oh, thinking, because I was like, it has to be us because I was expecting a delivery that day. And it's not like DHL drives through the neighborhood every day. So I think maybe he didn't know it was us. I don't know. So he went by and then flipped around and comes back. And he jumps out of his DHL van and he has the biggest smile on his face. And I'm like, David, I'm like, how are you doing? And he's all, I'm doing great. And so we just kind of caught up for a second. He said he's been doing really good. And after he had left, and I think I told you guys on last week's call, like I felt like I did what I was supposed to do. But then I was like, dang it, I should have given him the transfers that he had been delivering, because those were the ones that, like, you know, God used to speak to him. But I was just like, everything happened so fast, and I don't know, I grabbed what I felt I should grab, and then I ran out and gave it to him and everything, and then he left. And so I just kind of had like the littlest bit of regret that I didn't give him the right transfers, or I should have gave him the other ones. I don't know. It was all in my head. And so I'm going to go ahead and do this too. So I was just kind of just mini bummed about that all week. Hey, Miss Cindy. And so God's so good because he knew and gave me a second chance. So he comes in, he delivers. As he's unloading the boxes, I'm like, hey, I wanted to give you, I'm like, I'm so glad you're back. I wanted to give you the ones that had really spoken to you last week. And I just wasn't thinking when you were here. And so I wanted to give those to you. And I ran in and got them. And then I also grabbed, because he's taking care of his little sister, I grabbed a package of the Soulful Sentiments and I gave those to him too. And I just told him, I'm like, these are the ones all the ladies like. So I know she'll probably like them. And that was it. You know, we shook his hand and he went on his way. But I was like, I love how God is so good to not only bring him back, and he came back in such a better place, like you could just tell emotionally, but also give me the opportunity to give him the ones that I felt like I should have gave him before. Like I kind of got to close that shoulda, coulda, woulda. And again, it's just another representation of how good God is, that he sees everything. He knows our heart. We could have had any driver. I've never seen David before. He hasn't been our driver before. Again, he's on the total opposite side of the valley. And I don't know if they picked their loads or what, but he was like, it was him again. So I just love it. So that's the David update. So those of you that heard the story last week, you're all caught up to date on Mr. David. But keep praying for him, you know, because I know God's going to be working. And I just can't wait to see what he does with it. All right, back to our project. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this sheet down a little bit so I'm not dealing with the whole giant sheet. So these are big 20 by 30 sheets. Hi, Miss Angie. She's taking a peek while you're at work. We won't tell anybody, Miss Angie. Christine says she loves the stories. It's all God. Like, he does it all. Like, he's always working. Always. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is just figure out, because since it's dry, since we're using the decoupage method, we can play with it while it's still like moving around, and it's not going to stick to anything. So when I was messing with this yesterday, trying to figure out what I was doing, I found a way, I think it might have been this one, where I can pretty much get 3 for the most part. Like this one, and most of that one on it. So that's what I'm going to line it up. So you can kind of move your base around till you get what you want to, how you want it to be. And obviously I'm working on like a whole giant sheet. We don't need all this, but and I probably could have done it more so that I would save more of the tissue. Like I can move it all the way over here actually. And then I think I have to cut off the, oh no, I need to go higher. No, I do need to use that one. I'm trying to make the, I'm trying to get the most amount of the full verse basically in the craft. And sorry, the way that I have it, you can't see. So I'm using the edge of the table. And I think it's going to be this because, let me push it up here so you can see. All right, I got stuff everywhere that's blocking me able to slide up here. This is one of the challenges when you're working with this giant sheet of tissue. All right, so this way you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I'm trying to get the bottom lined up here. There you go. And I will have to cut off the Proverbs if I want to get the most of the top here. And it's still going to be cut off a little bit, but that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it back down here. I know you can't see all of it, but I'm going to bring it back down here and just scooch it just a little bit. And again, this is all preference. It's however you want to make it look. You can just cut out one design and just do it in the center. Completely fine. So however you want to do it. So once you get it where you want everything, you're going to make sure it's nice and flat. I'm going to hold onto it with my hand here while I put the parchment paper over it because I don't want it to move. And what I love about the parchment paper is you can still see through it. And then I'm going to take my iron and I'm just going to start going over it. And that is going to melt the Mod Podge into the paper and attach it. Now you will want to be careful, like as you're moving up, you don't want to, you know, touch it with your hands too much because it's going to be hot. So just work the iron, and you want to work from the bottom to the top or from the right to the left, like one consistent way. And it really shouldn't take much. Like if your iron's on the hottest, which mine wasn't, but. Well, hello, Miss Debbie. Debbie's another one that sent a sweet email yesterday. Debbie, I don't think I had a chance to respond yet, but I saw your sweet email and I'm lifting you up. And I also want to say thank you so much because that made my day getting that email from you. So thank you for sharing that. All right, so we're just going to make sure gently that all of our edges are attached. We don't have any like the pointy ends that are trying to come off. Like look at that little pointy ends trying to come off. Now that could be because I didn't get my Mod Podge all the way to the end. So I'm just going to do the tiniest little dabberoo. on that because I probably didn't get it to the end. And I'm not going to hit it with the iron because I put it on wet, so we're fine. And now I'm going to start cutting this down so that we can sand it. So we'll keep our parchment paper out there because we're going to use it for all the projects today. And then I'm just going to come through and cut off the edges. Because we are going to sand it, but we don't need to be working with all of this. And when you do the iron-on method, it gives you like this wrinkle-free, completely smooth surface. If you prefer texture, I would do the other method. Now here's my hack for sanding. Any of these little point places, you want to go in here and like just clip into the corner. And that's going to help you when you're sanding so that it will release. So I just do like a diagonal right into the corner. And then that way when I'm doing the sander, it will get all the corners and edges and all that stuff. So same here where it goes in right here, we're just going to clip. Can't even see it. Sorry. We're just going to clip right there. Any of those little, just clip all the way into the corner. And that's going to help when you're doing your sanding. So these little pieces, you're just going to fold up and you're want to just keep them because you don't know, you could use them for all kinds of smaller projects. So now I'm just going to go through and we're going to sand it off. And you just want to sand back, down and back. Now just be careful, you don't want to go up and back because it could rip your decoupage up off the base. You don't want that. So we're only pushing down in the one direction. And you can see it's coming off quite nicely. We're already almost halfway done. Now you can do the fire method if you're brave. I have not had the best success with that, and if I did it on my little church, it would look like a church that someone tried to burn down. I guarantee it, because I just not have the best luck with the fire method. I think I've tried it twice, and both times I was like, this is a disaster. So I don't have the touch. But basically, if you want to try it, maybe on a scrap piece of wood, it's pretty much what we did here. And then you just light the edges with like a match or a torch lighter. And then it's supposed to burn, you know, just and then stop at the wood. However, when I do it, it like burns in here and it's uneven, and I don't like the uneven fire look. So I just have not been the biggest fan. Now I have heard you might need to do it when the Mod Podge is wet. And I live in Arizona, so the time that the Mod Podge is wet is like 30 seconds and then it's dry. Well, hello, Miss Catherine. All right, so from here, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna attach my little cross to the top here. Just gonna put a little bit of glue on the bottom. I say a little bit, and then, you know, I put a big old glob. And then from here, I'm obviously just going to want to make sure it's straight. And then I'm just going to kind of line it up with the Lord there. And I got way too much glue. So I'm just going to take some of it off. Woo! And go back. So otherwise I was going to have like a big old glue bubble poking out the side, and I didn't want that. All right, I still got some glue strings on it, but that's how simple. I mean, you can see the little, you could do just a little church. And then if you wanted to get fancy, we have the we have the decoupage squares too. You could layer a square on here. You could layer a bird on here. You could layer other things on here, but that's just one quick little project with the tissue. So we'll put that aside. I'm going to do another project with the tissue, but I don't want you to wait to see the decoupage, the rice paper. So we're going to do that next. So this is just a piece of, it's not our, what is it, 1x8 that we usually get, but this is a piece my husband laser cut for me because we went thrifting last weekend or the weekend before last. And I found, I'm going to show you. I found this frame and I was like, I love this frame. So it's already antiqued and everything. I don't know if you can see like all the little, like it's already aged and everything. And it was, I think it was $6. It was so cheap. And I was like, yes, but it didn't have any, like you can see someone already antiqued it and everything. This is the back. But it didn't have anything on the inside. So I told my husband, I'm like, can you take the laser and can you make me a thing to go on the inside of this? And he did. So this is the back, but so it just fits right in there. And I'm gonna have to glue it in when I'm done. But it's just an insert. Now, if you, not everyone has a laser, you could do the same thing with a piece of cardboard. So just save a box. Like a thicker box, and you could do the same thing and just use that as your insert. Or sometimes frame come with just the back, you know, you could just decoupage directly onto that too if it was, or put the cardboard onto that and then put it in. But this is our frame we're going to use. So I was thinking this one would be so cute, but then when I was showing you, I was like, I don't know, because I thought this one would be so cute, but I don't know if the side is going to cut off the hem. So I kind of need to see if it's going to cut off the hem or not. Like cut off the edges. Ooh, it might just fit. Okay, you guys decide. Do we have a vote for Amazing Grace or the one with the hummingbird? What do you guys think? You let me know because they'll both fit. I was going to do this one, but it'll cut off the side of this edge of the bird. And I was like, I think one of the other two will work better. All right, I'm going to take a sip and you guys are going to let me know which one you're thinking. Oh, Amazing Grace is already winning. Hi, Miss Mary. Christine says the bird. I know I've got to go get more shapes. Now I will tell you the this one, for those of you that resell, this one, anytime I put this pattern on something to resell, it flies. It's the first one to go. So for those of you that resell, this is a popular one to use. All right. I think Amazing Grace is one ahead. So I'm going to do that one. And then believe you me, I'm going to be looking for more frames. Okay. So the most important thing to me is to make sure that the Amazing Grace is going to show in the frame. So I'm going to push that, like I'm going to line the rice paper all the way up with the top of the piece of wood. Instead of centering the design, because that way I know that this is giving me the most time here. Now, the next thing I need to worry about is having my sides equal. And I pretty much, this looks pretty equal to me. So I'm going to not move it. I was going to shove it up so you can see it a little better, but since I have it centered, I'm just going to leave it where it's at so I don't mess anything up. Okay, so we're just going to, again, I just touched it. So I want to make sure my top is still all the way lined up. The other thing with these, with using something that has lines, because now we're working with horizontal and perpendicular or whatever, if we have it crooked, it's going to be very noticeable because we've got lines going this way. We've got music lines going this way. It's a whole thing. All right. So I think we're good. My iron didn't shut off, so we're good there. Woo! Do you see that? Almost try and get me in my lap. That would have been fun. You would have saw me hop up so fast. All right, I'm gonna just go from top to bottom. And I'm just gonna go from left to right. Okay, so while we're ironing this, let me talk about sealing for a second. So there's a few different ways that you can seal. I am probably going to put this for resale. I always say that and then I fall in love with it and then I don't. But I have too much stuff. I really do probably have to resell this. So I will want to seal it. There's a couple ways that you can seal it. My preferred method is always acrylic spray whenever possible, just because I have a lighter hand when I spray than I do when I apply Mod Podge or varnish. I think we have it on here good. But you can use Mod Podge or varnish. Christine wants to know if I ever thought about selling Christian craft t-shirts. My husband says I need to put these ones on there. These are actually designs that I got. I haven't thought of selling anything branded just because I didn't know if anyone would want like to walk around with like my brand name on there. I don't know, maybe. If you would, let me know. We can make it happen. I have a great local printer here that I use. So it is an option. We just haven't gone there. So you can seal with Mod Podge. You just want a very light layer, and I would use a sponge brush, a very light layer, and then you could do a couple of layers if it bubbles on you. Because here's the thing, right when you apply the Mod Podge, and you can also seal with varnish. You can seal with resin too if you're into resin. But if you use the Mod Podge or the varnish, once you put it on, it's going to start to bubble. Like it'll look like it will bubble and you're going to panic. Do not panic. Do not try and pop the bubbles. Okay, just leave it. And it's so hard because like I have really bad like OCD with that kind of stuff. When I did the stool, same thing. I put it on and it looked like it wasn't going to bubble and then it started bubbling and I was just heartbroken because it was the decoupage tissue. But I know if I just walk away and come back like 3 hours later and look at it, the bubbles will be gone. If the bubbles are not gone, then as long as, you know, you can give it a few hours, love it and leave it, and then come back with your parchment paper and your iron and you'll be able to iron them out. That stool had a ton of bubbles. There's not a bubble on it. And I used varnish with that. So the moral of the story is we don't panic. We don't panic. Sue was just going to ask if you do anything with resin. I don't. And I don't think that I have the capacity for that. Poor Megan gave me like a paper embosser and I still haven't tried that. I need to with the Printables Club and I just haven't. But no, I don't have anything resin. But I have seen some resin projects with our transfers and they are stunning. I saw somebody did the ornaments last year, the ornament makers in the resin, and they were just gorgeous. And then lately, just last week or so, someone took our transfers and put them on a tumbler, and then whatever you do to the outsides of the tumbler, I don't know if that's resin or what, and that was gorgeous. So I know it can work. I just don't know how to do it. Also, I'm really bad at burning myself with the glue gun, and I'm pretty sure resin is like super hot, right? Is it hot? I don't even know. It looks like it should be hot. Maybe it's not. If it's anything to do with heat, I have to proceed with caution because I am a clumsy girl. I have this whole story when my husband and I were dating. It was like Valentine's Day and I was like dressed all fancy and trying to cook him this dinner and I ended up like burning myself in like 4 different places with the steak oil. It was a whole thing. It was not cute at all. So yeah. Me and heat, not so good. Obviously he stuck around. Steak must have been good. All right, now we only have the 3 sides on this one to hand off. And again, this week I changed it. So if you're not a member, the members already have access to these. But if you're not a member, you don't have to wait till Thursday. They're available now. I just had like the brain fart when I was doing the emails, and I was like, why am I having them wait till Thursday when the members already have access? They could just get it now. Okay, so here it is right now. Honestly, this by itself, you could totally sell. It's so cute. The Amazing Grace was a great choice. All right, so I'll probably glue it later, but I'm just going to pop it in here so y'all can see. So we're just going to stick it in there. I want to make sure that the top is where the top of my thing is to hang it. All right, we'll just pop it back in there. And here we go. Now, did I get it so you can see it? Oh, it's just right at the top there. So that is our Amazing Grace vintage print. Again, I just scored this frame. It was like $5 or $6 at the antique store. One of the booths just has a ton of frames with nothing in them. And this one was already like vintaged. So I was all, love it. So cute. That's how easy it is to work with the decoupage with the rice paper. So then I just have one more project I was going to do with the tissue. I grabbed one of our plant picks. You guys have been buying the heck out of these. So these are just to go in a plant. You could also put them in like cheese boards, or, you know, if you're into entertaining. You do want to seal with a food safe sealer though. I think Polyvine makes one. And yeah, I think Polyvine's the one that does the food safe sealer. But I just want to take one of my extra little pieces here. And I'm just going to use it for this. So obviously there's always a million different ways you can do this. Let me shove this up because you can't see what I'm doing. So if we just want, I did like these little arrows going up. I thought those were super cute, but anywhere that I put them, I'm still going to get a little bit of, you know, I'm going to get a little bit of this. I'm going to get a little bit of that. Do I care? I don't think so, because you kind of can't tell that they are letters or anything. They kind of just look like patterns, but I'm gonna have to pull it up because I didn't cut this. This cut is not exactly straight, so I want to make sure that I have my design, my words. So basically what I'm going to use is the bottom of this heart here where it says heart. I'm just using that to decide if this is straight or not. We're just going to keep inching it just a little smidge. All right, I think that's good. We're going to come in with our iron still on. How lucky am I? It's not shutting off on me. And I did cover this whole thing with Mod Podge. When we did the plant picks before, I think I stopped like right here. Oh wait, and then I had to go back and cover the whole thing. I remember now, it's coming back to me. But the picks are a 4-pack. They're also in the store, in the same collection. These are available. They've been flying out of here. I think so fun. I love, like, when you give someone flowers, I feel like they don't last as long. So when I have an opportunity to give flowers, I was explaining to this last time. So sorry if it's a repeat for those of you that pop on every week. But I like to give potted plants because I feel like they last longer. And they're generally about the same price. So I think how cute are these to stick in the potted plants, you know, when my neighbor has a baby, or, you know, someone's got back from the hospital, or, you know, whenever you would give someone a potted plant, new neighbor. Like, how cute is it to just take one of these sticks and stick it in there? So it's like a gift. And then they can use it. In my home, I have these in my plants around the house. So each little plant has like, well, not each one, but my favorite ones have just a little pick in there that has whatever message I want. Or you can change them out for the season as part of your seasonal decor. You can make these some for spring. Then, you know, we'll have patterns for Christmas. We obviously have patterns for Easter. We did the He Is Risen, which I just moved. Oh, it's sticking out of the plant right there is another one. So this is a fun little inexpensive way to add to your home decor without having extra clutter or anything around. You can just stick one of these in your plants and swap out. Also, I think someone last time had said if you're in like an assisted living home or something, this is a great way for them to switch out their decor without having a lot of extra stuff. So I just think they're super fun. All right, and then this top, we just have the teeniest little bit here because, all right, so there you go. So you can see, even though it has like just the little extras of the other designs coming in, it still works. And if that bugged you, you could just take, you could water decoupage the inside and just use the design, but I thought it was cute just to use as is. So fun. City seal with what? Which things? So if I'm sealing with these, I would just seal with, you could do, I'll do acrylic again because the spray is easier for me. But you could do with Mod Podge. You can also do varnish. And then you would just do it the same way. Light coat. And then put the transfer over here. On the plant picks, I probably wouldn't seal with Mod Podge only because I would probably use the acrylic spray because this part's going to be in the dirt and it's going to be water. And then the water is going to reconstitute the Mod Podge and the paper. And we don't want that. So it would probably be better to do some kind of waterproof type varnish. So you could use like an acrylic, like a poly, like a liquid poly. You could use, I have my acrylic spray is an indoor outdoor spray. So that's what I'll use. And then they have it in matte or they have it in gloss. And I think all mine is gloss. So that's what I would use. And then you could also use for the food safe one, if that's what you're asking about. I think Polyvine is the one that makes a food safe one because they use it on cutting boards. I'm pretty sure it's called Polyvine. And I think that's the brand name of it, but don't if that's not it. If I'm not correct, someone with more knowledge pop on here. Okay, you're welcome. So these are the three projects that we did today. So this is with the rice paper. And then these two are with the decoupage tissue. Could also be used for gift tissue. So it's not just for crafting, ladies. But I'll go through and I'll show you the other patterns as well. So that is the Amazing Grace. So again, this is, I didn't glue it in yet, so it's going to fall out. We'll just leave it there. It's going to fall out, but it's fine. So that's a 4-pack. So you get the Amazing Grace. You get the Matthew 626, and these are A4 size, if I didn't mention that already. They're A4 size. So Matthew 626, look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet our Heavenly Father feeds them. This was our #1 selling pattern last year. And I just realized my craft camera is backwards, and it should not be. Weird. I'll have to fix that. Sorry about that. This one is the Peter 5:7. Cast your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Again, that one is not King James Version, if that matters. And then we have look at the Lord and his strength, seek his face always. And this has the cute little hummingbird. This whole collection is called Rest in His Grace. It comes in the 4-pack. You get the instructions, exactly what to do, a link to our tutorials if you need help with that, but they're all in that. And then we also have the Proverbs 3:5 tissue paper. You can get it in the 10-pack, or you can buy single sheets. So if you just want a couple sheets, you don't need a whole 10-pack. You can buy the sheets individually, just like all of our other papers. And then lastly, I did put the church that I used, the church cutout that I used is on the site as well. For reference, the cross is about 2 by 2 inches, and then the church is, what did we decide? It's 10.25 by 6 inches. And then also what I love is this part is just like our house. So if you have seen our house cutout, as far as the, it's actually just a little bit wider than the house. So the house part, for reference, the square in the house is sized exactly to fit our napkins, our napkin designs. Because you know our napkins were printed here in the US. So we're only able to print the front, and the design portion is, I believe it's like 5.75 by 5.75. These are, or it's 5.5 by 5.5 because these are 6.5-inch napkins. So the house square part is designed to exactly fit the size of our napkins. So you don't have any issues when we buy other cutouts. The napkin doesn't quite cover, you know, all the places, and then you're having to figure out how to like blend out the edges. These fit perfectly. So if you're looking at the church, it is going to be a teeny bit wider. So you can kind of see it. Let me show you right here. So the church is just a teeny tiny bit wider. So I would center it if you were going to use it, but then of course you're going to lose this part. So if you're using it for the napkins, just know you've got a little bit of play there. And again, these are more of our cutouts there on the website as well. But the church is brand new. I just told my husband to put it on there in case you guys saw me do the church and you loved it and wanted one. I just personally wanted a church because I've been jonesing to work with a church cutout, and I can't find one that I like. So that's where we have that today. And then we'll also be working on next some little stands. So for me, I would just display, I just use this little easel that I got. So that's generally how I display like my cutouts. But we're going to be working on not something like this, little stands that if you have the cutouts and you're looking for a way to display them, then you could do that. Also, when I use them in my tier tray, I just use them as leaners too. This one's a little bit too tall, I think, for my tier tray, so I'll have to keep it on the little stand. But that is what I do. And then the other house that I did, for those that want to see, this one was also with the Peter Decoupage tissue. So this is just one sheet, and then I used one side of it here, and then I put the verse side inside the little bird. And then these are just popsicle sticks that I used. So again, this is the members bonus night project that we're going to be doing. So most of you, I think, already grabbed the rice paper in the houses and multiple houses. So you have it, but if you are a member or if you join the membership before we do it. We do the third Thursday. We get together and craft, and that's what we'll be doing. So the chair is from Temu, actually. Believe it or not, I saw a whole bunch of reviews on it, and they were saying how awesome it is. It is comfy. It comes with like the little back pillow. And then the other thing, it has the foot thing. Like you pull out the bottom and you can like sit cross-legged. It has one of those things. I don't use it as much as that part as I should. I think I forget that I have it, but for the most part, it is super comfy. I did get the colors. They have like, there was like a blue, a pink, a purple, a black, this cream. And when I was picking it, I had to figure out what would work with like the set design. And I thought black would be best because obviously crafting, but it doesn't look aesthetic. So I went with the cream. And I've been doing so good, but when I was prepping I can't show you. When I was prepping the member club, I've already made May's club as a demo. I can't wait to show you. But anyway, I got some wax on the arm, but I think I got most of it off. But I was like, dang it, I've been doing so good. But it was the wax that got me. So we'll be using a lot of wax next month, ladies, on the project. So if you don't have the Dixie Belle Best Dang Wax, you're going to want to get it for next month. You don't have to have it. You could use paint, but that's what, all right, I'm going to shut up because if I don't shut up, I'm going to give too much. I'm going to give away too much. So Terry said, Christine says, show us. Christine, I'll have to show you in the member group. I will show you guys for sure on bonus craft night. I'll show you. But your minds are going to be blown. I know we always say it's like the best one yet, but it's like the best one yet. I love it so much. So for next month, we actually so this has been my dream or my vision for a minute, is the whole point of the transfer club and the transfer kit club was to get to the point where the transfers match the whatever project we do like perfectly. Because now that we can make the projects, we want the transfers and the napkins to match exactly. So we're not having to do like funky things, you know, and so they're shaped to match it. And so May is the first month that we've been able to do that. And it makes such a difference. Like the projects, it's going to be so fun. It's going to be so fun. So get in on that. We do have memberships open to the club So you can check that out on the site. For the club, if you're not aware, club members, you don't have to have a club to shop with us at all, but we offer the club if you want first access and 20% off of all brand new designs. So the members are all getting 20% off the tissue paper. They're getting 20% off the rice paper. They already have access to it. They'll get 20% off the cutouts. They already got access to everything. And so that's so that they can ensure that they always get whatever it is we drop. Because when we start doing the Christmas drops, I remember if you were around last year, like the first Christmas drop we did sold out in 3 days. So like the public barely got any chance to even get anything and it was gone. So that's kind of one of the big perks. Then also as a member, you pick which club you want to be in. So we have one that's just the transfers. We have one that's just the napkins. Then we have the kit clubs that include the transfers or the kit club with the napkins. So you get a full kit and the napkins or a full kit and the transfers. And then we have the deluxe club, which is everything. So you get the transfers, the napkins, the full project. And then you also get the printables club, which we also have the printables club. But this is the project that we're doing next month. This is what's being mailed right now. So this is our, what did I call it? Our standing tassel sign kit. So everything you need to make this included in the kit. And Lisa, I'll get you. Everything's included in there. And then it comes with the tutorial. And then we also craft later together in the month if you want to craft it live with us. So we have 2 live crafting events each month. They get to see all the inside scoop. They get all the inside information. Yeah, that's where we hang out and connect and pray over each other. And it's so fun. So we'd love any of you to join us if you're not already in there. I know there's a bunch of you on here that are members, like the last, I think 5-6 comments are all members. So yeah, but yeah, everything's available now in the store. I'm going to jump off and clean up my mess, but I want to thank you for jumping on today. I think I'm just going to stick to this 12 p.m. What is it? Pacific, where we line up with Pacific right now, time slot, because it seems to be working for everyone well. And then you can know when to expect me. Next week, we need to bust out the printable or the transfers because I have not crafted with this month's transfers yet. So this month's theme is Grow in Grace. So I'm going to bust out some of these transfers and we will do something with them. I don't know what yet. I got to come up with, I'll come up with something, but we'll play with the transfers next week. But that's it. So thank you. I love hanging with you all as well. And yeah, you guys all have a blessed day and I will see you probably next Tuesday then. Until then, happy crafting.